Welcome back. You're watching Sunday Live. Now, obviously, we've been talking about the inauguration ceremony on Tuesday. It's going to be witnessed by millions, not just in Kenya and Africa, but around the world. A large part of what's going to be happening in that ceremony is no doubt going to be entertainment. And here with me in studio are some of the opening acts that we're going to be having. We have Daddy Owen, Emmy Kosgei, and Jaguar. Many welcomes to the studio. It's so good to have you with us. Thank you for making time out of your busy schedule rehearsing at Kasarani. So I'm sure you're like, you owe us.
Oh, man. After this,
it's like, where's the money? Yeah. No, thank you for joining us, and congratulations, obviously, on being selected. Yeah. I want to go around asking each of you, you know, being selected among so many must have felt so special. Kenya is turning 50 this year. We're about to welcome the 4th president of Kenya. Let me start with you. How did it feel to know that you were going to be a part of this ceremony?
Okay, to me, by there, let me say, I need to thank God first and foremost, because the most important thing, you know, we have so many artists in this country, but being selected as one of the artists who will present like a new beginning in this country, because of course everyone knows that right now we're turning 50 and all that. And for the most important thing is we are not just there to dance and move and do all those things, but representing the youth. And as you know, right now everyone is saying that the youth are the ones who are taking over this country and taking it to the next level. So I believe it's a great gesture, and I believe it's symbolic to so many things. Okay. And apart from that, I believe it's an honor just for the state to call you and say, Daddy Owen, come and perform.
Right, it must be an honor. Emmy, obviously, you must be among some of the few female artists that are going to grace this occasion. Yeah. Tell us about the moment when you got the call to say, you know what, we want you to perform.
You know, as Daddy Owen said, it's a big honor, and it's something that I thank God for. I don't take it for granted, and I know there are so many gifted songwriters, artists across this country. And I felt so honored and proud to be a Kenyan, and excited to be part of this when you're turning 50 as a nation. And for the second time, after doing, you know, my performance at the Constitution, you know, the new Constitution swearing in, now swearing in of the new president, it's a big honor for me.
Yeah, it must be. And obviously, it almost showcases you as a messenger of change as well. Exactly. In that sense. Exactly. Jaguar, to you as well, how did you feel?
I would say the same, because I felt great, and I'm very happy to be part of history, because I believe when you perform on that day, it's like history making. So I can say I felt great and honored to be among the chosen artists.
Okay.
Yep.
I hope I'll get a shout out on that from one of you.
Definitely.
You know, I'll be looking out. I'm just saying, at least I'm giving you a heads up so that you know what to expect. But I want to talk a little bit more about the future of Kenya. You've all talked about the fact that it's going to be a new Kenya, a youthful Kenya. We are, even now today in the news, we saw how, you know, the Inspector General has issued a stern warning because some youth are allegedly supposed to be disrupting the event. We don't have the best reputation in Kenya. How do you want to play a role in changing that image, and how do you want to do it? Again, let me go around and start with you.
For me, I believe the most important thing right now is cohesion is very important. As young guys, we need to preach that apart from what happened, the elections and the petition, all these things that for me they were successful and all that, I believe right now is the time for the young guys. Let's come together and build this nation, because at the end of the day, the nation is looking at us, because we're the ones who will carry this nation forward. So if we don't act now, who will do it for us? Because if we go around trying to complicate things and complain and all that, there's nothing we can do right now. At the end of the day, we need to come together and work together and see what's the best thing or what can be offered to us as young people. And for us, it's just to take it like footballers who are ready to go on the pitch to play. Let's dress up, let's put on our uniform, be ready to kick that ball and score the goals.
Yeah, especially now because the opportunities are coming in. Emmy, do you share the same sentiments?
Yes, I do. And, you know, as you said earlier, you know, what is happening now, and every time there's something negative, there's an opportunity, people want to share their views, they use the youth, you know, platform, because they know that's the part that maybe to some extent are being ignored, or they're struggling, there are people who are still, you know. So with this new government, I know it's an open opportunity, it's a platform, as you said, and we have a big role to play and to prove this country that the youth are ready to take it on. And as you know, from the preparations, for example, and what I saw, and the kind of groups performing in this, today's, on Tuesday's ceremony, it's very youthful. We have talents, we have young acts who are showcasing what they have, and they're so excited about it. I mean, it's a new dawn for all of us. Okay. So we are so optimistic.
I'm going to come back a little later to find out more about what to expect at the inauguration. Jago, I can also ask you, where do you think the biggest frustrations of the youth stem from? I know we've heard about youth unemployment. You hear about the fact that every time something bad happens, the youth are blamed. Where do you think that pain or that frustration of young people comes from?
Most of the youth stay waiting for the government to help them. And I always tell them, like, if I did the same because I've slept without food, kuishi kwa ghetto, some things like that. What I always tell them that you can't just sit there and wait for the government to do stuff for you. All you need is to work. Even if the government might come and like help you on the way, but you can't just sit down and wait for the government to help you. So I believe now we have a chance because the government that is coming in is youthful, and that's why we voted for it. So I'm going to tell them to like rethink, because we need to change. We need to change, not kukaa kwa base yani unangoje unaona. That's what I can tell them, because now we have the chance now. Yep.
Yeah, and I know you in particular have been openly supportive of the Jubilee campaigns. Yes, I know, I've read about that.
Jubilant.
He's jubilant. And 50 years into it, I think the timing is good now that it's our Jubilee year. Okay, so what do you want to see? I know we've talked a little bit about youth now saying this is our chance to take the reins and take the country where we want to go. Do any of you have any projects or programs that complement that kind of change, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about that, or maybe in the future what we can see from the three of you in terms of seeing that change take place?
For me, I can say, as in, I've been an advocate for let me say, disability. And the most important thing I want to see this government do is consider these people as in, they should be given more opportunity. Because at the end of the day, we don't want just guys to be appointed there, and then they go there, they don't change anything. We want guys, even from Mashinani, guys who we know they're disabled, but they have so many opportunities. They can, every now and then I watch on news as guys doing marvelous things. Like I saw a photographer who is blind and all these things. These are the people who need to be supported. And if you can identify the people who can work with them, and the government can see these are mechanisms that we can put for these people specifically to help them. To be honest, I believe, one, that's a blessing, and two, it will change so many people, because I know so many guys who maybe they're young like me, and they're disabled, but they don't have any hope, because they believe, because I'm disabled, I've tried to go to this organization and no one is helping me. Now maybe my hope is on the government. So if the government doesn't have any mechanism, that's bad for us. But for me, I want to tell them, as we know all of them, they're young, this is an opportunity. It's a blessing. Let's bless these people, let's work with them and give them an opportunity to showcase what they have. I started as an example by doing a song with a physically disabled guy, a visually impaired guy called Deno, and that was an example from me. Now I believe everyone else has an example to showcase, even the government to see and say, let's work with these people, let's support them. And Amy can testify. He comes from the same background. He can testify. The dad supported her to where she is right now, and without the support, Amy could not be here sitting with the lovely. So
the shout out you're doing well.
So yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Okay. As in, these guys, I hope they are watching right now, because for me, I always tell people, for me, I'll be there as a voice to they call me the peace warrior. So I'm here to call on the government. I know everyone voted in for them. Now we are here to watch them and to make sure whatever they promised us, they'll deliver.
Right.
That's me.
Yeah, it was a powerful song that you did with Deno. It really was, and just the message. And so the fact that you are speaking for people with disabilities, I think, is really powerful. Emmy, let's move on to you, maybe a little bit about what Daddy Owen is saying. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about that support and how it's really helped you.
Exactly. I think it's something, when I saw Owen, do it, it's an awareness that we need to create. I think there's so many people out there with different kinds of disabilities, and they get to be discriminated somehow because of this concept and perception that people with disability are not able to do, jobs that people with ability per se, can do. And Owen said it's a testimony. My own dad is physically handicapped, but there is no day in my life that I ever ever crossed my mind, because he worked so hard. He went through school, though very late, but he managed. He helped me go through school. And with my career today, he's the man behind it, you know. And when I discovered and I had the urge to do music, he told me, that's what you feel. You want to do it, I will support you. He has supported me since. There are so many people with disability out there who can do various things. There are families who have, you know, who can do many things, but because of that perception, they can never move an extra, you know, step. But with the new government and their promise again on, you know, supporting and helping people with disability, we all believe and hope that very soon in our country, you know, we'll have special, you know, lifts for people with disabilities to access facilities, special transport, public transport. You can imagine somebody, you know, on a wheelchair or without a wheelchair.
It's not wheelchair friendly, for instance.
Exactly.
And exactly.
Yeah,
so obviously that's something that we'll be looking forward to. Yourself, Jaguar, as well, and the role that you hope to play in terms of seeing that change take place. Because a lot of people will be looking to all of you and saying, if these guys can make it, I can. But what kind of programs or what kind of message are you putting across?
What I can tell the youth is like, it's not, I know it's not easy to make it in Kenya, like, because most guys say like they don't get support. But I believe what the youth need, need role models. And with us, like, we have come from far, we've reached there. I believe we are good role models to them, because whenever I meet a person who want to do something, like want to do music, I usually take them to the studio. And sometimes, you think he can do it, but when you take him to the studio, you find he's even better than me. So what I can say that we shikana si wote, because I believe everybody, kila mtu alizaliwa na like a talent. Everybody has a talent. All we need to do is like uplift all the other guys.
Yeah. Do you guys think there are enough role models in Kenya, in your view?
Well, okay, but that's relative. It's relative. To be honest, it depends, because you see, even your dad can be a role model. Even your mom can be a role model. What's so important is how you view life. You understand? So for me, I believe we have so many guys who we can look up to, and you're like, I want to be like this guy. But sometimes you're like, we have this notion that a role model must come from another country. You understand? Or for you to look cool, if someone asks who's your role model, Nelson Mandela.
Which is fine, but
it's fine. But you know, we have guys here who you can put in front of you and say, this is my role model, and I want to be like this guy. So if you don't have role models right now, it's going to be very hard even for us to motivate our kids and to nurture other people. If people can't look to you and say, Janet is my role model, or Daddy Owen, or Amy, or Jaguar, then we have a problem. You understand? It's just, you see, someone can be a role model, but if you don't say it, you're not helping out. The most important thing is for you to testify and say, this is my role model, I want to be like him. So you want to emulate him and what they do.
Yeah, so the same thing. The same, but then I want to ask the final question a little bit about the inauguration ceremony. Your thoughts, especially as a woman and role models in Kenya. Do you think there's enough of a good example that women can emulate and want to be like in Kenya?
I think they're there. And with the kind of circumstances that we go through as Kenyans, as Africans, and particularly as Kenyans, it's an environment that you would never lack a role model, because a role model is a person who's gone through where you are going through and overcame and is successful in a way. The only problem, as Owen said, is the perception. People don't imagine that we can have Kenyans, some people that are role models enough, but I believe they are there. It's only us as the youth or as the Kenyans to change our perception and know that what they've gone through to achieve what they have achieved. We need to learn, we need to know, we need to ask from them. But if, let's say, somebody is not celebrating you and they want to be in the media, for example, or to be like you, you know, without getting any opportunity, they need first to celebrate you, to respect what you do, and to know for you to have gotten there, it's a process. So to get there, they need to sit down and ask you, how did you get there? But if they look at you and they say, no, I want to be like somebody else who is not in this country, how would you work in our local stations? You know, so the standards, exactly, the connection is quite different. The gap, the experience and all that is not the same. So I believe they are there. We have so many women, you know, they give their stories and you feel, wow. So we need to just change our mindset, our concept, then we can move.
Okay, we're going to have to very briefly, as we wind up, just a comment each. What can we expect from you on Tuesday? Let's start with you.
I can say fire, because they've been practicing like for the whole week. So all the people who's gonna be there, the ones who will be watching us on TV, we promise we won't let them down because we've been doing practice like every day.
1 week.
Yes, so fire, 1 week, 1 week, crash course. From you?
I think it will be a big day, and our performances, we atutajipia debe, but we hope, you know, it will be the best with the preparations and for the first time. I mean, if you go to the stadium and see what's going on in terms of, you know, packaging, in terms of sound, in terms of setup, it's quite different. So we hope
that it comes together.
Yes, we believe, because, you know, with all the preparations.
You think it will pay off yourself? What can
They've said it all. I'm the element of surprise.
Well, on that note, we wish you all the best. Again, congratulations. Thank you for giving us your vision for young people in Kenya. We look forward to hearing more from you in the future. So thank you. I'll still wait for my shout out. There's no way I'm not going to.
I have a t-shirt.
You have a t-shirt?
You'll see the t-shirt.
Awesome. There we have it. Daddy Owen, Emmy Kosgei and Jag were giving us a take really on the vision for youth in Kenya and what to expect on Tuesday at the inauguration. Do stay with us. We're back in a moment with Consumer Watch.